the blue Terran, Taeja. Spawning in at the top left from Team My Insanity, we have the red Zerg player, recent winner of DreamHack Valencia, Sacsri. Sacsri? Just leave it at that.
Just say it confidently. All right.
Sacsri.
And he's actually scared of a 2-Rex right now.
He is.
I got to point that out right off the bat. He's scared of a 2-Rex. With his Overlord pathing to start, he thinks Taeja's going to try something a little bit different. Sacsri, we saw, you were mentioning at BlizzCon, a little bit of a more unconventional player. So I wouldn't be surprised if Taeja just tried to start something off, throw Sacsri off his game. I'm sure Taeja is very confident that he can take 2 games at any time. I wouldn't be surprised if he tries something weird to start. What do you think?
This is kind of unusual. Like, yeah, the Overlord scat pattern, he's doing it a bit odd. I guess, like, the first thing that you really need to note is, like, hey, is there a 12 Rex, 11-11, whatever, like 8 Rex? Like, he knows he can do that. The second Overlord, that would scout a barracks, although I guess if he sneaked it on the far left side. But Taeja, he's been going for CC first a lot recently. There's been way more of Taeja to study than there has been of Sacsri, so maybe he just knows that he goes CC first a lot of the time and can place, like, it depends what he goes here. Does he go up to, like, 16 pool, playing very risky, very greedy? Yeah, we'll get to determine a lot of what goes on based on what Sacsri does rather than what Taeja does.
It's actually a little bit unfortunate. When you don't send your Overlord straight through, you're looking for those 2-Rex, it's not going to get there very quickly to see a CC first. You don't have time to react with extra drones. Like, he's going for the gas before pool, but I don't really see that getting too much done in the early game unless he wants to do some sort of high pressure all in, like with Roaches or Roach Bane or something.
I don't know. It seems like some Zergs. You notice in the game with Kayn, especially on maps like this, where your third and your natural are like pretty separated. It can be harder to get creep out there. Sometimes you see Zergs getting the earlier link speed because they feel it helps them defend it earlier. If they get the link speed earlier, it helps them defend that third a little bit easier. But I guess we'll see what he plans to do with that.
I mean, like, if you know that your opponent's going for CC first, I remember in the old days just going like 3 hatch before pool was a very like regular build.
When Reapers sucked.
I mean, Reaper, like, once they brought in the Reaper, it's,
that
you couldn't really do that anymore. But if you know a player's going CC first, don't you think going 3 hatch pool, I mean, yeah, 3 hatch before pool is still a valid opening, or is that totally, like...
If you know they're going CC, like if you drone scout it or you get that Overlord in on a map like this where you send the Overlord straight out, you can see it a little bit after it starts. The Overlord gets there around like 2:25, 2:30 to scout it, so you have a little bit of extra time.
I know that in the past that was definitely the correct choice. I don't know how that would work now with the way the Hellbat timings work. I don't know if you'd be able to if you would get that Baneley nest early enough.
Maybe just go Roaches.
Yeah, I mean, Roaches are possible too.
Or enough Queens out. Like, this is...
not enough. No.
There's no such thing as enough Queens
against. If your opponent is pushing you with like 1 or 2 medevacs and like 6 to 8 health, there's no way you're not going to hold that with Queens ever.
This is a very... Oh, okay, so we see a Roach Warren actually going down at this point in time. Like, that's insanely early. So we've seen the CC first. He knows that his opponent's max going to have like 2 Marines in the bunker. Then it's just Hellion production from that point on. The reason that you know it's going to be 2 Marines only, and he's actually seen those enter the bunker, when you go CC first, you have enough time before the reactor to whip out 2 Marines, but that's it. Unless you're going for some crazy build like 3cc before any gas, in which you'd only have 4 Marines, but then again, this Roach push does pretty well against that too, so nice decision by Sacsri.
And the reason you don't have enough time there is because if you don't get that reactor started on the barracks, then you're just going to be waiting that much longer before the factory pops out.
Well, he saw with the SCV, he came in, he saw the gas. I doubt he got there at the timing when he would have mined 100 gas. Or maybe, I didn't notice the production tab, maybe Sacsri started and canceled link speed. That would really be convincing, I would say, to Taeja, someone who only has the SCV to scout early. You think he expects anything like this? You think he'll be prepared, or do you think that Sacsri's going to get a lot of damage done?
I think against a player like Sacsri that is very capable of doing anything, like he's one of the guys that transitioned very quickly to Swarm Host play and did it very comfortably. You have to be prepared for these kind of things. And
I'm a little frightened for Taeja here.
I mean, he's going to have a Starport producing a Banshee pretty soon, which is nice, but with only 1 Marine in that front bunker and the other Marine just making sure that Overlord doesn't peek or anything.
He's going to move it back. He's definitely going to scout this attack with these Hellions. Hopefully he'll get those pulled back in time.
What do you do with the Hellions here? You see the Roaches, do you pull back or do you go run by?
Run behind the bunker.
I mean, losing them, but...
Every little helps. And I mean, it is only a little, but what are they realistically going to do against a Queen and stuff? You have to micro back over there, micro at your front door. Like having 4 Hellions now, this is a number that we can work with. So yeah, the immediate reaction, even though they're not very good against Roaches, you don't have a lot to work with here, so...
Every little bit of damage helps.
And the splash here, it actually helps quite a bit. So Sacsri is trying to focus down the SCVs as much as he can. It's going to be a bit of a fight for him, like focusing the bunker, but every time the SCVs come back, and he's doing a really good job splitting up the damage here.
And this is exactly what you want to do as a Zerg. When you do this initial push, you're not actually looking to kill the bunker immediately. You want to pick off as many SCVs as possible, and then you start working that bunker down. And he was able to kill 13 workers with this roach push. And immediately transitioning back into macro play 2, you see 5 drones on the production tab and on the queen. And these roaches still working their way into the main base.
Yeah, we'll see actually how much damage they can do. Like, I mean, they're getting whittled down very much by the Banshee. Is that Marauder actually going to die? That's a bit of a big deal, I guess, too. These Hellions, though, staying alive. One of the big things here, though, for Sacsri is he didn't receive any damage back at home. So he's 41 drones against 28. One of the big things, though, he didn't put down a 3rd base while all that was happening, which is a little surprising.
I don't think he had the resources nearly to do so. He's getting it now. He's getting the drones out, but he has to spend some of those drones on Spore Crawlers. He did some good damage to the SCVs, but I think the key is that instead of going for a 3rd base, Taeja went for the starport and has the Banshee out, which is going to prevent Sacsri from droning too hard here.
Yeah, I think the reason Sacsri wanted to forego the 3rd immediately is because he really wanted to get that lair started on the gas going too, and also the spores as well, because the worst thing is to do a lot of damage to a Terran and then have this happen, where you get counter-harassed and they end up catching back up because of either Hellion run-bys or cloaked Banshees. You can't be too greedy after that initial push.
One of the biggest difference in Terrans is like their ability to deal damage with things like Hellions. Like, if you're against a really scary Korean Terran, those 3 Hellions, bam, he whipped out 6 drone kills, whereas against like a foreign Terran, you know, they're not really that scary. Like, you really have to take these guys very seriously, and Taeja is one of the best Terrans on the planet.
I've always said it in the past, it's really funny, but you can actually tell how good the player you're playing against is immediately based on how their early Reaper control is.
Yeah.
Every single time, you can instantly tell if they're a really good player or not.
Okay, so he's actually got a Viking on the map, which is cool.
Always a good move, I think.
Yeah, I mean, clear out that airspace, because, I mean, eventually he's going to want to do drops. And these Overlords that...
He's actually supplied left right now, and he can't make any more units. The Banshees are just killing off all the drones that the Spore Crawler doesn't cover.
This is getting a bit nasty for Sacsri. He's got no upgrades on the way, no Evo chambers in sight, in fact. He's getting Mutilus, sure, but...
Do you go Mutas into maybe another Roach push or something like that?
I mean... I think
it's getting more and more desperate as time goes on here. He's actually evened out the workers killed, and he's pulled ahead, I believe.
I think Taeja holding off that Roach push he did it so well. Like, yeah, he lost a lot of harvesters, but the second bunker behind the initial bunker, that was a big deal to hold back in. Forcing the units into the main, they all died. Yes, he lost a lot of workers, but he was putting up like a good amount of infrastructure while that was going on. Double Evo on the way, a Baneling nest on the way.
Literally a perfect scan there for Taeja, picking up the Evo timing, picking up the fact he wants to go into Banelings. He's not committing to Roach speed, so that means there's not going to be a Roach follow-up after maybe 5 or 6 Mutas. And is there any situation which Sacsri finds a window where Taeja's not going to be able to defend?
Right. I mean, the Baneling speed is so late. Like, he doesn't even have his Baneling done yet. That 1-1 timing for him is going to be far behind Taeja's 1-1 timing. I don't think Sacsri has any windows here for any kind of a timing attack that could ever have success against a player like Taeja. This is definitely something that's going to have to draw it into a 3-4-5 base game, which I think on this map
Infestation
actually
pit time, then?
maybe if he starts to go for Swarm Host, but I feel like this map, I feel like this map favors Terran in the late game. If the Terran gets like established on 4 bases, because the Terran will spend the entire game just hitting left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right over and over again. It can be very difficult to defend as Zerg.
Destiny. What's the highest efficient APM you've ever had?
For me?
I mean, like, yeah. Because I'm looking at this now, right? Taeja's got like 130, which is pretty solid.
Oh, don't even. I don't
Shift
like
C, Shift C.
Yeah, I see it. I don't want to look at it.
But like, dude, Sacsri's got 195 efficient APM. That's insane.
That's in-game APM right there. Like.
And like 350.
That's higher than almost every NA player that has regular.
Yeah, but look
APM.
at him spamming up to like 500. I think it's just spamming the 1, 2, 3, 4. Like, what's going on right now?
I mean, it measures that and stuff. Oh, but like here, go for a little engagement. Ooh.
Taeja needs to manages to lose a medevac full of Marines. That's actually a really nice pickup for Sacsri right there.
Needs to stay off that creep though, but still, like this spreading of creep that he's done, like behind that Roach push initially, it's still pretty aggressive, pretty well done. So Sacsri.
I noticed this in Taeja versus Kane. Taeja seems like he doesn't do much, or at least not today, in terms of keeping Zergs from spreading creep farther than I think they should be able to.
I mean, he was kind of using his Hellions to do damage, and then he was using his Banshees to pick off drones. He wasn't really on top of the creep, which is kind of a little bit of a sacrifice you make. I think if you keep the Hellions alive, you keep the Banshees the damage. Is that worth it to just go for that many drone kills? I would assume so, but
I think he's in good shape right now. Like I think everything that Taeja does is probably a pretty good move.
Probably the best move.
Yeah, considering how good a Terran he is. But Sacsri still reapplying this creep, getting good creep down the right-hand side. No fourth base in sight, which is... That's pretty bad.
Where's Baneling speed? Oh, there.
Baneling
Okay,
speed is
just
almost
finished.
done. Yep, just finishes. But these Banelings are going to get picked off. They're definitely out of position.
You can't fight off a creep here.
No. Does Sacsri have another contingent nearby? Yeah, another. He's
He's
got
got some
reinforcements sitting up there. Maybe he'll try to go for some kind of a surround up here on this high ground. I'm not sure. Taeja already with mines in position to retreat back into as he kites the Zerg.
I don't think he commits off a creep here. I mean, what it really comes down to is the muta count versus the medevac and mine count. Sure, Banelings. If you get that muta count up, you can make more Banelings. You make more Banelings, then you can kill a lot more armies. But if the medevac count gets too high...
Those 3 Widow Mines, are they going to go off on all those mutas?
Oh my god.
Brutal hit there. Personally, I think it's worth it to just suicide like 5 Banelings to kill the 3 mines there, just
Yeah.
to get rid of them.
I don't even think he
Every
realized
time.
they burrowed.
He didn't, because he wasn't focus firing them either with the Mutalisks, which was a large mistake there. Maybe he just wasn't watching, or...
There's no way you camp all your mutas over 3 mines as you see them burrowing.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
think
yeah.
anyone would do that.
For sure.
A few little like errors in Sacsri's play, but he was so like Taeja's done everything right that he needed to. Like he really has. He's playing a really good game. He's now whipping out Thors. 2-2 is very soon done. How many mines does he have on the field?
And 3-3
9
coming up
mines.
immediately.
Like with 9 mines still alive. Oh, bam.
And this drone is going to get taken out, so the 4th will be denied. Oh, we got a large medevac drop heading over to the natural.
This is a bit risky, I would say, but
I mean, a little bit.
Taeja burrows all 3 mines. Maybe he figures he's in a spot where he's comfortable enough to, even if he loses a lot.
I mean, look at the supplies,
Yeah,
guys.
the supply, yeah. Very one-sided at the moment.
there's that counter.
Taeja picks up a few, heads off.
And the Banshees are
working
still
away
alive.
drone to the 3rd, on hold position, just away from that
What is
spore
the
crawler.
kill count on these Banshees? That is just... Okay, we got...
18 on 1.
And
19 on
over
11.
30 kills. It looks like the mutas are actually cleaning up some of the medevacs, but the mutas themselves have been cleaned up to a number that's not actually scary. It's not going to one-shot a medevac or anything.
Yeah, 7 mutas is not enough. Taeja working on his 3rd weapons upgrade.
That efficient APM 217. I just have to keep like I've not seen anybody with that high.
On a scale of 1 to things that don't really matter
Yeah,
anymore.
I was
That's
gonna say,
I mean,
pretty
it
near the
doesn't matter,
top.
but I'm kind of like, you know, aghast. Like, what does he do with his keyboard and mouse, like, to make that happen?
Gotta
But
keep those fingers warm, right?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
I mean, a cool army for Oh, bloody hell!
This is really
cool
aggressive.
army.
This is really aggressive from Taeja, just completely spread out on this creep, not giving any fucks whatsoever.
It's aggressive, but I think it's totally warranted when you have this
yeah.
many Thors to back. Oh,
Yeah, I mean,
it hurts
this
every
is-
time.
This is the death march right here. Taeja, resources lost 8k compared to 15k. That's a big deal. Good split still. Sacsri GG's out. First game goes to Taeja. Very dominant right there.
I mean, you can't really blame Sacsri for trying something early on. He got a bit of damage done. I think he felt pretty comfortable with the situation, but he fell apart a little bit to the Hellions and the Banshees. And Taeja's control with the Hellions and the Banshees was just unmatched, I would say.
I feel like when you play series like these, I feel like there are acceptable losses, like you lost because of a build order loss or just something silly, and then there are losses that really hurt. I think that this is a loss that really hurts. He did everything that he wanted to do with that Roach opening. He killed every SCV at that natural. He
Down here in the bottom right-hand corner from Team My Insanity. Getting a little bit early pressured on last game. We'll see if he can keep it together for a little bit longer. In the second match, it's going to be Sacsri. His opponent. In the top left-hand corner, keeping cool under almost every circumstance so far today. This is a map where, in these positions, he could get a lot done. I'm excited to see what he does with it, but of course I'll ask the Muslim about that in just a second. It's going to be from Team Liquid, Taeja. All right, I got a little bit ahead of myself, the intro there, but he's
Happens
in
to us all,
merry-go-round.
Winter.
Yeah, I got premature, but
You know, when you're used to talking to yourself 10 hours a day, like these things
that's
happen.
a fair point.
talking to yourself,
Kind of,
Oh.
yeah. That's what
I
streaming
like to think
is.
I'm talking
saying the bots
at
aren't people
people.
too.
Ah. But you know, if somebody just came into the room and had no idea what you were doing, they'd be like, yo.
I get that sometimes.
But,
These positions on merry-go-round, talk to me, save me.
okay.
I mean, you're not the one that he's saving. It's Sacsri in this game.
Cool. Well, let's start off with, like, merry-go-round. This is a really good map for Terran. One of the reasons is the 3rd is so far away from the natural. That means that getting creep to the 3rd and then getting creep to a 4th. Hellion Banshee on this map opening with a Reaper. It's one of the best builds, if not the best build you can possibly do, because the queens are all separated. You can then go into like a Hellbat push with the bases being so separated and then deny creep from that point on. it's a very, very scary map for a Zerg to deal with. So opening up, Sacsri, I'm not sure what he's going to do to exactly deal with this. Do you go for extra queens so you can have extra creep spread? But against a player like Taeja, we saw that he opened up against Kane in the previous series with like 3 Reapers and 8 Hellions, and he actually killed the third base without Hellbats or anything. So Taeja can make things, magic things happen. But here, standard 16 pool, 16 gas. I like it.
I mean, Sacsri got the Overlord Scout out. He sees the barracks finish. He sees no CC first. He can assume a Reaper's on the way. He knows he's dealing with a little bit more of a standard Terran build here. And I think in response, we're definitely going to see a speed open. I don't think any roaches are coming out here on merry-go-round.
Yeah, I think the big problem with this map is similar to Nimbus, and that where do you take how do you get a 4th?
You get really ahead.
How do you get a 4th as a Zerg?
Yeah, in this map.
Well, like, it's which 4th do you take? Like, do you take that bottom right 4th? I think so.
Do you take the, well, wait, which are you considering as the 3rd?
The forward 3rd, or would you take the right 3rd?
I feel like you take the right 3rd. Do you really want to expand into the Terran? Especially if Taeja takes, like, the 3rd beneath his base? Or
especially with medevacs.
I've seen different things happen, actually. Like, I've seen some players take the 3rd closer to me, so the creep spread will, like, advance in a way that they kind of need it to.
Even with Mutiling?
Yeah, and like if you take the 3rd over to the right and then you take this forward 4th, like your creep spread towards the watchtower, because the Terrans will ultimately always go for your 4th.
For sure.
So like, would you prefer him to go down that little angle on the right side where you can kind of like pincer him in?
Well, that's assuming that you don't die taking the forward 3rd.
Yes, I guess.
I don't know. I guess
just early medevac pressure. They have before mutas come out. Just a couple medevacs using the high ground can hit your main or your 3rd base at the same time. That is an incredible pain that anyone going for mutas and hasn't quite finished that Spire up yet has felt before. And I don't think that's something that Sacsri wants to feel here today.
There's a few things I want to talk about. So like, there's a 2nd gas on the way for Taeja, which does imply it's either going to be Banshees or Hellbats. But this first Reaper goes down. That's quite a big deal, actually. There's no more scouting. He has no idea if there's going to be a roach opening or you know, a 3rd base anytime soon. Can't block it. Did he see the gas, actually? I believe he did see the gas. Yes, he saw the gas, so he knows it's going to be a 6-minute speed build, so he can't do anything from that point anyway. But we have a starport going down. No tech lab on the way on that barracks, so it is actually going to be one of those Hellbat pushes. So is Sacsri...
You think he goes to Hellbats, or he starts out with a kind of a combination drop where he runs by the Hellions, goes for a drop in the main with the Marines, or does he wait a little bit longer?
I've seen people do that quite a bit, actually. Yeah. But I think if you can go Hellbats with a build like this with the 6 Marines and
sometimes you follow it up.
Yeah.
To that point.
Oh, he supply blocked, actually. Oh, wait, did that supply depot finish somewhere? Yes.
I feel like to make a build like this work, I feel like it has to be Hellbats. I think Hellions is an incorrect choice.
The armory does go down.
The reason why I say that is because that Hellion run by that Winter just mentioned, and people do that, is very annoying. But if you have link speed, it's actually not that annoying. Because you can actually just kill the Hellions with your links.
How many queens?
Sacsri knows what it is now, though.
Yeah, sure. There's the extra queens. He's got the Baneling Nest on the way. He got all the Overlord scouting he ever wanted, which is something that he definitely didn't have in the previous game. Well, he got the scouting by having roaches in the base, but by that point it was a little bit too late to respond without
seeing that number of Marines, even if he doesn't see the buildings. It's like, why would you have so many Marines so early, given that you're making Hellions as well? It's like, that doesn't go with a Cloak Banshee. That can only mean one thing, that you're going to come and drop me and be very, very aggressive with Hellions as well. So, you know, although he's opening up a Banshee now, is he going to get Cloak with this? Like, this is a very, very aggressive
follow-up. A little bit of everything.
Yeah.
I think maybe a little bit of a change of heart after the Overlord scouted. Maybe he doesn't want to commit as much to it, which, I mean, considering that there were 14 lings made by
that makes sense.
By Sacsri, it might be
this is one of the problems with expanding over here, though. It's so far away. Like, he can just... Did he get the arm? He's still got the armory, right? Like, he can totally Hellbat mode and kill this base.
For sure.
I mean, Sacsri, he hasn't been spending the queen energy.
Would Sacsri be able to stop this if it was his front 3rd, though? I mean...
would he have more of a chance?
I don't really know.
I doubt it.
Now these queens, look, these queens are... There's no creep there.
He didn't use his transfuses, but they want that energy.
I mean, there's no creep there, but on creep, would they be doing much better? I'm not sure.
On creep, yeah. I mean, they can avoid those Hellbats. In this situation, they were just
This is actually just going from bad to worse right now.
This is starting to look like the game 1 against Kane a little bit. The Lings come in here, but I mean, Lings don't kill Hellbats like this.
Ever.
And when you look at a situation like this too, this is all time that Sacsri wants to be droning, and now Taeja is going to slowly overtake him on that count, and Taeja splitting up all his Hellbats here, so these Banelings getting terrible connections. Now the Banshee's in the fray too.
This is really frustrating too, because Taeja's he's actually got his 3rd almost halfway done, and Sacsri, this isn't supposed to like kill Sacsri, but it might.
It's the queens.
I mean,
you can't lose the queens
Yeah.
to try to kill a medevac.
And
That's
the
not
banelings.
worth it.
He used all of his banelings to attack the Hellbats, but he didn't actually do anything. And sending in these lings like this is just suicide. He needs to be using these to morph banelings. He's not
got
buying
5
himself any
banes.
time.
5 banes are not
Look at
going
this
to kill
Hellbat
us.
split again.
Yep,
though, like,
Taeja already spreading them out.
Where do you even go?
Banelings trying to run in and find any kind of a connection. They're not going to find the hits they need. Taeja pushing in here, rolling in with the Hellbats.
Also, he committed to the upgrades early on, so he didn't have very much gas for Banes. Losing the queens, there was nothing to actually meaningfully kill these Hellbats, not let alone the reinforcements. So.
What a smooth push by Taeja though. And back at base, like his infrastructure is lacking, but I mean,
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter. That's
still
the thing.
streaming units across the map. The final reinforcement
GG.
arriving, and Sacsri just GG out.
What's the resources lost tab at
Taeja
4.5k?
taking it down 2-0. Who called that at the beginning? Whoever did. Wow.
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 I mean, that guy didn't just like.
Really against the odds.
What
there.
a prediction.
Yeah,
there.
I mean,
Man.
it wasn't likely at all. Or it's not as if you're kind of like betting on one of the best Terran players on the planet, if not the best.
Very true. You could have let me have that one.
I let you have too much
mean
destiny.
to me all the time. Like, I know that Team Liquid thread went up earlier, and the meanness is in all of our hearts now. But you could just
There's a Beam Team Liquid thread.
yeah, the